Our journey into Xenosaga is in full swing, and our journey, or should I say our saga, has only just begun. Okay, realistically, I'm not that far into Xenosaga 1. However, I have put in about 7 hours into the game. Granted, a solid 4.5 of that was just talking to NPCs because I'm me.
That's no big deal.
And I think I love it. Hello everyone, I am Jmulls, and I've been a massive Xenoblade Chronicles fan for almost 10 years at this point. But I never managed to get my hands on Xenosaga, so I decided to make the plunge. I have the entire trilogy, no joke, in my hands right now, and there's so many elements about this game that just click with me. Like, yeah, it's obviously a little bit dated because it's an RPG from the PS2, but there's so many different elements about this game that feel as if they were designed in such a way to please me specifically. And the more that I play Xenosaga, the more I find myself falling in love with this game. What do I like? Well, I love the characters, the dialogue, the cinematography, the choreography, the combat, the actual gameplay. I love the overall sci-fi vibe. I love the gore this game has. I think the music is solidly okay so far. And I love having this little vaporizer gun that just blasts things in the overworld to shreds and I loot them. I love it. So also, I love the comedy in this game. Like, it is really early 2000s anime humor, but that stuff just lands with me. And I mean, every joke. I think it helps that my mind just kind of works in a way where, in some of those more awkward segments, I just make up my own jokes in my mind that make me laugh. But you combine that with the overall visual presentation of the faces, and just the game on the whole, and the way that these scenes are paced and executed, it just lands. I think it also helps that the visual design of the characters in Xenosaga, because, well, it's a PS2 game, have just the right amount of jank, alongside how they actually animate the faces in this game and just the way that characters look. It lends themselves perfectly to visual humor that goes on in this game, and I just find myself cracking up constantly. Like the one scene where KOS-MOS is on the outside of this spaceship the elves are trying to get on board, and she's negotiating with essentially the scavengers on board. And it's just like the way she looks at them and like, hey, let me in. It's just something about tropey anime humor that just clicks with me. And Xenosaga, at least, is filled with it. And you combine that with the voice acting that goes on in this game, and it's a perfect blend between actually, like, competent voice acting, especially for the time period, but also, like, try-hardy, but also awkward, and all those elements are in equal measure, and it just lands for me. One of the easiest ways to make me care about a game is to make me laugh. It's also one of the easiest ways to make me care about characters, make me laugh with them. And it's the typical anime robot humor they have with KOS-MOS, where it's like, oh, she's a robot. I know I've said it like 4 times in this video, but it just lands. I already really like KOS-MOS as a character. She is hilarious. I must do it for the mission. Proceeds to absolutely Swiss cheese a guy with a minigun because there was a Gnosis on the other side of his body. And she also managed to kill the most annoying character. Absolute cinema. I mean, this game is just great so far. And like, yeah, the beginning is like ultra slow paced. It doesn't help that I wanted to talk to every character multiple times on the initial ship because I wanted to get all of the dialogue. Yeah, I didn't mind that. But you could feel the fear wash over my stream chat when there was a line of dialogue where the protagonist Shion was like, after 5 hours of me talking to everyone on the ship, she's like, oh, I should go talk with everyone again. That one was particularly funny to me. But yeah, this game is brutal, and I appreciate that. There's quite a bit of blood in the scenes with the Gnosis, especially when they invade the ship, and I do think it adds to a lot of these scenes and just drives home the brutality of the Gnosis and just how threatening they are, and how horrific of a situation we're finding ourselves in. But let's talk about Shion for a second, because she is the protagonist of the game. I think she's solidly okay to me. Some people in my chat found her annoying. I'm kind of here or there on it, because again, there are a lot of like anime tropes in this game, and I'm well accustomed to them, so I'm like, oh, she's just this character archetype. So I don't find a lot of her interactions, mainly with KOS-MOS, in the more recent parts of my playthrough, to necessarily be annoying because I'm just like, oh, yeah, okay, that's just the character. I noticed a trend when it comes to Monolith introducing characters in Xenoblade, and I guess it like carries over to Xenosaga because it came first, where they will introduce a character with a lot of tropes, especially if you're familiar with anime. Sometimes when they introduce a character, they will be very tropey, and it's a decent way for you to, like, get your feet wet with a character, to be introduced with them, and to kind of understand the overall feel and vibe. And then they add on the uniqueness and the character development and the motivations after that point. But, like, they use the tropes as a way to anchor that character in things you're familiar with, and then add on layers of intrigue after that point. So I imagine, especially since I know Shion's in all three of these games, that it's going to be a bit of a slow burn, and that the same logic will apply to Shion and also KOS-MOS. And I imagine the entire cast of characters probably never, like, steering completely away from the tropes, which I don't mind again, but again, using them as an anchor to make these characters feel familiar out of the gate. It's an interesting strategy, and I think Monolith, at least in my experience from Xenoblade, tends to pull it off. Now, there are very long cutscenes in this game, and I hear that I've seen nothing yet, but, one, the cutscenes are really dang good, so I don't mind that they're long. It kind of feels like I'm watching an anime episode or something in between other sections of a combination of gameplay and story development, and then they just throw an anime episode at me, and you know what? I kind of like that, especially since I like the overall presentation this game has. But the part where I'm at right now, we have swapped the perspective away from Shion and KOS-MOS to this other guy who's on this rescue operation to find a Realian. Essentially, like, think of a cyborg or robot, but if they were made from flesh and biological components. But I know this game came out before Halo 2, but this entire section and the perspective swap reminded me a lot of Halo 2 with the Arbiter, where the perspective moves away from Master Chief and goes to this other character we're just being introduced to, who uses stealth technology to invade some kind of, like, enemy fortress. There's a lot more connections to Star Wars here, but I have more of a connection with Halo myself, so that's where my mind went initially. I will say these cutscenes are rather information dense, so if you happen to miss a line, you can easily feel as if you missed some key element and be kind of out of the loop. Thankfully, I can always just go back and rewatch these cutscenes because I'm uploading these things because I'm streaming them. But let's talk about the gameplay here. I kind of like it, right? Like, it's not the best turn-based gameplay I've ever played in my life. I'm coming off the back of Expedition 33 here, but I still kind of like it. The combo system is rather interesting. See, the way the combat is constructed in Xenosaga is that it's a turn-based game, and you have two main attacks for your basic attacks, a physical one and an ether one. Though I think it kind of slightly depends on the character you have, though, like, rule of thumb, it's a physical attack and an ether attack. And you can combo these things. You can start with a physical attack to go into an ether attack, and go for straight up only ether attacks, straight up only physical attacks. If you choose to build up AP from turn to turn, and go for a massive combo on one turn in particular, then depending on the sequence of inputs you, input, you get a different, like, ultimate capstone ability you can utilize at the very end. For some reason, I just find this mechanically satisfying. Also, you get a giant freaking robot called an eggs in this game. AGWS, but they kind of pronounce it as eggs. And you can customize your eggs with various abilities. If you're familiar with Xenoblade X, it is similar in vein to that, where you can customize the components that eggs has, which augments what abilities you can utilize in combat. But yeah, overall, I am really enjoying Xenosaga. It's a game where I want to play more, and I think that's the best feeling a game can instill you with early on. The feeling of wanting more. I can perfectly understand why Xenosaga would be off-putting for some people. I can completely get it, right? But just, as of this point in time, there's a lot of, like, polarizing elements in Xenosaga that just click for me. Like the humor, like the combat, like the overall presentation of the game, like the pacing. I don't mind a slow burn. I don't mind a slow start. I like the voice acting. I like the humor. I like the tropes. I like having a giant robot I can just bust out of a Pokeball in the middle of combat. That's great. I like how I can go out of my way to get a bunch of extra world building if I want to go talk to a bunch of other characters or go into, like, my codex kind of thing and read up on various terms or characters. I quite enjoy that element of Xenosaga. So yeah, I was a bit worried going into Xenosaga whether or not I would actually like it. I knew I would want to play them for the story to find out all about these characters and this world and how it could possibly connect to Xenoblade, but I wasn't sure if I was actually going to enjoy the gameplay loop, if I was going to enjoy the overall pacing and presentation and everything like that. So there is this feeling of relief that I have where I'm like, oh my god, I actually do like this, and I like it a lot. It's like I'm so invested in this game at this point, where I'm going back when I have the time to rewatch these cutscenes, to make a notepad document of all the various terminology, the different factions, and the characters, because there's a lot, and I want to understand it all. Yeah, I'm fully on board, but we'll see how my thoughts and opinions change and shift over time, as I continue playing Xenosaga, as I continue putting more hours into this game. So yeah, with that, I think I'll call the video there for the day and go play some more Xenosaga. I'm streaming the game on this YouTube channel. You can find the VODs on this YouTube channel under the live section on my channel's homepage. And thank you all for tuning in. Leave a comment down below with if you have played Xenosaga, which one is your favorite, and also who is your favorite character. And if you haven't played Xenosaga, let me know if you would like to see Bandai Namco do something with Xenosaga, whether that be a port, a remaster, or a remake. Would you like to see Xenosaga return? And are you interested in actually trying it out? I would love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions and hear your perspectives. And while you guys are down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody, until we meet again.